Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Short Sports Show. I'm your host, Daniel Short. Today is Monday, April 28th, 2014. Got a lot to talk about: college football news, NFL news, things we've missed since last week, and also the NBA playoffs going crazy. Game 4s start today, if not already. Will the Heat close out the series against the poor Bobcats? I was really hoping the Bobcats can do something. They were so close. It was like a tease. They would be leading all the way to like the third quarter, and as soon as the fourth quarter came, boom, it was all Heat and the King James just dominating so far. Also, the NFL draft is just 1 week away, 10 days to be exact. It's almost here, guys. It's almost here, and it's exciting. It's exciting. It's finally. It actually should have been like this past weekend, but the NFL decided to move it, which is so dumb. That's another rant and story thing. But anyways, we're going to first talk about college football today. First was last Tuesday. Sad news for me as a TCU fan. TCU wide receiver Brandon Carter was arrested by police in Fort Worth, Texas on suspicion of possession of marijuana. He was in a car with one of his friends, and the cops reading license plates, finds out that car has I don't know, there's some hit on the car or whatever. Pulls it over, just routine stop, and then finds weed. And bam, just like that, Brandon Carter's career with TCU is over. Now, the school has not yet said that he's completely out of it, that he's kicked off the team, but all signs are pointing towards yes, he is. Just because of the fact, I believe, last month we had a wide receiver who led the team in receptions, again, was arrested on possession of marijuana. Bam, kicked off just like that. It was first offense, while Brandon Carter has had, his own trouble. He's been in the doghouse for the past year and a half with Gary Patterson, and Brandon Carter just played miserably last season. Dropping easy catches and just, trying to do too much at sometimes. He also missed a few games because he had some personal issues off the field that he needed to attend to. So he wasn't really there, which, part of it wasn't his fault. They haven't released why. They said it was just, personal reasons. But also, he hasn't handled himself off the field, obviously with this, but he had... he was failing school. He missed the entire spring camp for TCU just to work on grades, which is good because you need to, have passing grades to play, but you missed the entire spring camp. And now this, you're done. It's been more than 3 strikes for Brandon Carter, and it sucks because this guy has all the talent in the world to be one of the best wide receivers, not only in college football, but for, this year could have been the year to reestablish himself and possibly become a first-round draft pick, and not this year's, but next year's NFL draft. I mean, he has that much talent. He came out of Euless Trinity High School and develops NFL players like crazy, and especially top college players. And, he was just another one of those top players, but just didn't fulfill his talent all the way. So he is a senior, though, so I'm sure if he does even pass, he'll be able to graduate, I'm guessing. Oh, no, this would have been his senior year. So, with that, if he transfers, I don't know if he gets that hardship waiver. We'll be able to gain an extra year, even though he has to sit out. I don't know what's going to happen to Brandon Carter. I wish him the best of luck. I hope he gets everything straightened out. He changes his life for the better, and hopefully he becomes one of those stories where he was down the wrong road. He's able to learn from it and become a top player that he has the talent to be. But who knows? And it sucks because he's really, really good. But he's done with TCU. Also, the NCAA Division I Board of Directors endorsed a plan last Thursday that would empower big conferences. If the plan is put in place, the 65 schools in the ACC, Big Ten, Big 12, and Pac-12 and the SEC schools would have their own set of rules on issues such as cost of attendance, medical coverage, travel to games and tournaments for players' families. The board will continue to discuss whether the power conferences could set their own policies in areas such as per week time limits, recruiting, coaching staff limits, and outside career interests for players and transfers. So basically all that. It'd be good for, the schools for this to happen. I'm liking the big power conferences. I think that's what the NCAA is about to come to. And for all the smaller schools, you're just going to have to set your own smaller power conferences where everybody, the MAC, Mountain West, Conference USA. I believe Conference USA and Mountain West, they're merging, if not next year. So it's pretty crazy, these things that are happening with college football. The rules are changing, things are happening, and it's going to be exciting to see what college football turns into in the next few years. But those are just small little things. Also, Joe Paterno, his statue is coming back to Penn State, kind of, sort of. It'll be 2 miles away from where the original statue was when they took it down 2 years ago. The new statue will be installed near the entrance of the Tavern Restaurant on a walkway off East College Avenue and will replace 2 marble benches. The organizers hope to unveil the finished project by the 2015 season opener, but at the latest by November 2015. But it's awesome that it's going to be back there now. Penn State has. I don't think when I was reading, they're not involved with it. But it's nice to see that, it's kind of Joe Paterno's stuff is kind of coming back, because I do feel bad. In the end, I think it was just outrage and stuff had to happen at certain points and things were taken way too far on Joe Paterno. But, it's a crazy, touchy subject, so we'll move along with it. But Virginia tight end Jake McGee will transfer. McGee led the Cavaliers in receiving last year with 43 catches and 395 yards. He wanted to move to an offense that will fit his style of play much better. Here's the crazy part. McGee is really, really good tight end. He's one of the best tight ends, and he will be one of the top tight ends drafted next year. What Virginia did with him this season is made him into a hybrid tight end and wide receiver. Basically what you see in tight ends now. But what McGee wants to do is play the old traditional tight end, more blocking, smaller routes, not more of the, Jimmy Graham type tight end. He did switch to a wide receiver. They forced him to switch to a wide receiver, and that's why he wanted to transfer. He wants a different playing style. But the thing is, he's really good at playing, that hybrid tight end position. And it's like, you're really good at doing this. I know that's not what you like, but you are really, really good at playing that position. Why are you trying to do something that might not really fit you, even though he believes it fits him? So who knows, but he will transfer. No schools have come up where he's going to visit or where he's interested in. Have not come up yet. But one player did transfer, and that's former Duke quarterback Brandon Connett is transferring to Fresno State. And this is crazy. I seen this guy, and he's pretty solid. Saw him against Texas A&M in that Duke A&M game. That was best game ever. He will be eligible to play this upcoming season as a senior. Connett played 39 career games at Duke, including 4 starts. He completed 106 of 182 passes, 1,400 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. But those numbers are just average to below average as a quarterback. Actually, it's just average for a quarterback. But here's the thing. This is what shines over a lot of quarterbacks in college football right now. He has run for 31 touchdowns already. 31 touchdowns as a quarterback. Duke announced, and the reason he's transferring is actually a different reason than most players transfer. As we just talked about, McGee trying to get a system that fits him. Well, for Connett, his mother lives in California and is battling cancer right now. So that's the reason. And also he's getting really good playing time at Fresno State. He most likely will be the starter now that Derek Carr is gone. And it's going to be crazy to see how he fits into that system. And, Fresno State was pretty good, obviously, with Derek Carr, who just slung the ball all over the place. And Connett doesn't really throw the ball too much, as you see 31 rushing touchdowns. But it's going to be an awesome thing to see. Last news in college football is the SEC really just made its point as the best conference in college football. Non-divisional rivalries will remain in the league's 8-game conference schedule, but the SEC will begin mandating that each program incorporate an annual non-conference game against a power conference starting in 2016. What that means is every team in the SEC, from as low as Kentucky to as big as Alabama, must play at least one game every year against teams from the Pac-12, Big 12, Big 10. Who's the other one? Is that it? I think I just named them all. I believe so. Let's go back to it. Yeah. Oh, and the ACC. They have to play one team, at least one team from one of those conferences every year. It's all strength of schedule. You got to play the best, or to be the best, you got to play the best. And I like that. There's no more teams playing weak teams, like, no offense, but New Mexico State, UNLV, Akron, small little schools just to get, quote, easy wins. There are no more easy wins now. So, and that's what I like about the SEC. It's already got top teams in there. You're already playing really good competition every week in your conference alone. But now you have to play a game against a power conference. Yeah, you might be able to pick, a Kansas from the Big 12. You might be able to pick Colorado from the Pac-12, things like that. But at least competition is going to beef up a little bit, and that's awesome. But majority of the SEC programs are already doing that, except for 4 teams. That's Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Texas A&M, who won't play a game this upcoming season against an opponent of one of those 4 power conferences. But other than that, 2016 is when it starts, and bam, you got to play the best to beat the best. I think I messed that up. To be the best, play the best. You got to play the best to be the best. Whatever. Either way, that's awesome. The SEC is doing that. That's what every conference should do. You have to play power conferences. Best team wins. And it's only going to make your team better. But anyways, moving on to the NFL. Awesome. 10 more days to the NFL draft. And also last week, the NFL schedules were released. And I happened to find this out. The Chargers, my San Diego Chargers, are tied with the San Francisco 49ers with the 4th toughest schedule in the NFL for the 2014 season. One, that's really depressing because, I looked at it and I was really, upset. I was like, man, we didn't make the playoffs. We had a hot streak towards the end of the season, but now we got the 4th toughest schedule. And when we open up, and this is a stupid thing about the schedule, we have both the Seahawks and the Cardinals in our preseason game, and the San Francisco 49ers, and the some other team. I forgot. Anyways, we play them, Cardinals and the Seahawks, in our preseason games. Cardinals being our last preseason game, but right after that, Monday night doubleheader, we play the Cardinals on the road, week 1 regular season. How are you going to play the same team in preseason and then play them in the regular season? Especially back-to-back weeks. The 4th week of preseason, Chargers play against the Cardinals at home. Then the next week, regular season starts. You play on the road, Monday night doubleheader against the Arizona Cardinals on the road. How are you going to do that? Now that preseason game, everybody's a backup. You're not throwing any plays. You're going to just lose that game on purpose because you don't want to give away anything that you're going to pull for the regular season. It's so dumb. I've never seen the biggest mistake in NFL scheduling ever, other until this. It's terrible. But anyways, there's some positives for the San Diego Chargers having the 4th toughest schedule. San Diego last season finished with NFL best 5-2 record against playoff-bound teams in 2013. That's a positive. We didn't, other than losing to the Raiders pretty badly early in the season, every game we averaged, our losses averaged by 6 points. It's positive, but we still got to play the Denver Broncos twice a year, Kansas City twice a year. It's going to be crazy. And 3 of our last 5 games are on the road. So it's going to be a crazy season this year. So we got to really, this draft is meaning so much more now because of what we got to be able to accomplish. Moving on, the Carolina Panthers picked up the 5th-year option on quarterback Cam Newton. And so he'll be with the team 2015 season, and obviously he'll get a contract extension, so on and so forth. But one thing that's undecided is the 49ers. They have until May 3rd to exercise a $9.75 million option on linebacker Aldon Smith for the 2015 season. The GM did come out and say that he was not going to throw out his player like that, but he's also said, what are we going to do with Smith? And what would you do, guys, as a GM, whether you're a 49ers fan, you're not a 49ers fan, do you think the 49ers should use that option on Aldon Smith, keep him 2015, hope that he gets everything correct off the field? Because we know he can play on the field, but can he focus off the field? That's a huge question mark. And the thing that makes it tough for the 49ers is because they know Smith has so much potential and how really, really good he is. They either pay $9.75 million for the 2015 option, locks him up, done deal. And if they don't, but Smith gets everything corrected after this season and he's looking really good in 2015, they either have to put a franchise tag on him or sign him to a long-term deal. And I think I saw the minimum contract number money-wise was $12 to $14.5 million. That's a minimum they have to pay him. So it's only going to get higher. If he gets everything off the field correct and he's still playing really good, then the 49ers are screwed. So, what would you do with Aldon Smith? Use that $9.75 million contract option on him or let him go? Crazy. It's crazy. Crazy business. Seahawks fullback Michael Robinson, Mike Robb, will likely retire after 9 seasons. Sad news. Just, he's 31 years old. Nobody's really looking for a fullback. I know that he was linked up with San Diego Chargers. We released LaRon McClain. So maybe we can get the Real Rob Report coming to San Diego. That would be freaking awesome. If you haven't seen the Real Rob Report, go check it out on YouTube. He's got his own channel, his own series that he does with the Seattle Seahawks for the past 2 seasons. It's awesome. I love it. And you don't even have to be a Seahawks fan. You'll enjoy it. It gives you the player's perspective, inside the locker room, and the practices, all this other stuff that you don't get to see. And it's crazy. And it's really, really awesome to watch. And, best of luck for Michael Robinson. Hopefully he can sign with my Chargers and bring the Real Rob Report there. But if not, I know ESPN, NFL Network for sure, maybe Fox, CBS, NBC, they're looking at him and they're ready to sign him because he's going to be he's going to be on TV for sure if he doesn't make it on the NFL. Some crazy news for Arizona Cardinals. Defensive tackle Darnell Dockett called out his former teammate Carlos Dansby, saying, quote, "He chased the money. I got a lot of respect for our guy that left. I love him like a brother, but he was one or two pieces away from really making a lot of noise. But we're going to regroup." And he's talking about Carlos Dansby, who signed a 4-year, $24 million contract deal with the Cleveland Browns. Dockett later said, I quote, "I personally feel like he chased the money versus chasing a ring. No knock towards Cleveland. I don't want people to think I'm saying Cleveland doesn't have a chance. Everyone has a chance. But I just feel like, it was made for him to be here. Again, the financial part is totally different. I don't know anything about that. When you look at everything we've done this year, the sacrifices our defensive line made for certain individual to make his plays and go into a game not being selfish, we don't care. Our defensive line don't care about sacks, tackles, and stuff. We're coming to do our job to hold guys off our linebackers so we can be the number 1 run defense, which they were." Lastly, goes on to say, I just think that our opportunity was to be right there and to really get into the playoffs and make a run for it. We're not going to complain about spilled milk. I'm going to wish him well in Cleveland, and we'll see who's where at the end of the season. That's our goal. That's our motivation. End quote. Dockett had some strong words for Carlos Dansby. Dansby has not said anything back, and it's, really it's true. A lot of players, they just chase the money. The Cardinals did have the number 1 run defense, had a solid pass defense. Patrick Peterson back there, Tyrann Mathieu before he got hurt. So with all that, Dansby, it looks like he's getting older, but it's like, would you really want to go to Cleveland instead of Arizona? Arizona has a better shot, even though they're in a tougher conference, or not only conference and division. If you want a ring, it's all about Arizona compared to Cleveland. But everybody's got their own reasons, and Dansby has his. Most likely, it looks like it was money, but that's just how it goes. Moving on, defensive end Anthony Spencer agreed to a 1-year deal with the Dallas Cowboys on Saturday. Contract is worth up to $3.5 million. A source said that the deal does not include a signing bonus, but includes a $1.25 million base salary with per game roster bonuses totaling up to $750,000. Spencer also has incentives worth $1.5 million. So, again, for 3 straight years, Anthony Spencer has signed a 1-year deal with the Cowboys and has made over, I believe, $20-30 million in this 3 year span with the Cowboys. So it's pretty crazy. But anyways, I guess that's good for Cowboys. I mean, you lost DeMarcus Ware and you lost Jason Hatcher. So anything right now is good, but look for defensively in the draft. Look for them to go crazy for the defense side. At least that's what I think. Maybe I don't know if they really should get a safety, but the guy out of Alabama, Clinton Dixon, would be really good for them, I believe. But you also got to get that defensive line. Like, they just don't have a defensive line whatsoever, and especially now. Moving forward, let's see. The NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said Friday that a proposal to expand the playoffs by 2 teams would not water down the postseason, saying, quote, the competitiveness of our league, that's the difference to me. It's not just adding 2 more teams that didn't have a chance to proceed in the playoffs. That wouldn't be something that we're interested in. I think what we're seeing now is such a competitive league that a team that got in on the 13th or 14th spot has a chance to win it all, end quote. The league will discuss the proposal on May 20th, a meeting in Atlanta. Goodell says owners could vote to implement a new system for the 2014 or 2015 system. So we could still possibly see playoffs expanded this season, which, signs are likely it's not going to happen for this season just because it's, we're already getting into it, but never know. But for the 2015 season, most likely we're going to see an expanded playoffs. And that leads to for me to ask the question, do you want to see the NFL expand the playoffs? I want to. I want to see, because Arizona had a shot at making it last season. They could have made a run as well. So they could have took a spot up there. We know the NFC, all the teams in the NFC are really, really good. Majority of them. Vikings maybe not, but you know what I'm saying. NFC is a lot stronger than the AFC right now. Pittsburgh could have made it last year. They were pretty hot towards the end of the season. I really can't think of the other 14 seeds for either side, but I want to see the playoffs expand. I want those 2 more teams, and I want preseason to go to 2 games, and that's it. Maybe 3. No more 4 games. It's getting kind of ridiculous at preseason. But do you want to see the NFL expand in playoffs? 13, 14 seed. I mean, it could be crazy. Maybe have the first 2 seeds. Both of them have a week off. I know they already do have them an extended week maybe. And it gives more revenue for the NFL if they have another playoffs, and more fans that have hope. What if we have the 14 seed win it all? Upsets would be crazy. But I want to see it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. The Seattle Seahawks have hired former Miami Dolphins general manager Jeff Ireland as a pre-draft consultant. Ireland left the Dolphins on January 7th to end a 6-year stint with the Miami Dolphins. Back in 97 until 1999, Seahawks general manager John Snyder and Ireland both worked for the Kansas City Chiefs. And, this is just, I don't understand why they hired him. I understand the connection right there. But Dolphins only made only one playoff appearance in the 6 years Ireland was there. Seahawks, what are you really trying to gain here? I guess another eye or something, but he really didn't draft that many star players other than Vontae Davis at cornerback. And other than that, Dolphins already had a high pick in majority of the drafts, so you knew majority of the time you're going to get a good player. So, I don't know, little different. Moving on, new director of football operations Troy Vincent would like to see the NFL have a developmental league, saying, quote, "We need to keep the pipeline of talent flowing, and that means for all of our areas of the game. Players, coaches, scouts, game officials. I'm responsible to look at whatever the competition committee looks at. That includes a developmental league. For all this football talent around, we have to create another platform for developing it. Maybe it's an academy. What would it look like? Maybe it's a spring league. We'll look to see if there's it says something weird here. We'll look to see if there is an appetite for it." I don't know why I said appetite. I don't understand why I need to say that, but that is something. I don't think we would see. I don't think we'll see a minor league type system. I know that's what a developmental league is, but it would be. I like the academy expression or spring league. 7-on-7 type things. That would be something. It would bring in the guys from smaller schools that need to make a name for them. Every team has certain things. Not an arena football team, but something where fans can still go. That'll be something so the NFL can still make money off of that. But I would like to see something like that. A spring league. You can have one like the Dallas Cowboys could have a San Antonio team. San Antonio's been wanting a team. Maybe that's the first place we need to take to LA. Have a developmental league team there in LA. See how that works out. And maybe that brings an NFL team. Or maybe for the Chargers, they move to LA but keep a developmental team in San Diego. I don't know. And smaller places, other cities that don't really have a team, bring one to Oklahoma. Just spread out Virginia. Virginia develops players like crazy. But I would like to see one. But would you like to see a development league in the NFL? I think it'd be good for the NFL to have one. I don't think it'd be like just practices though. An academy 7-on-7 type competition. But bring it to 11-on-11. Smaller fields. Just I don't know. I think it'd be nice to see. But crazy news of the day is 49ers fans suing the NFL for $50 million over playoff tickets. John E. Williams III, this is the story, was excited about the prospects of scoring a ticket to make a trip to Seattle in January to watch the rivals battle in the NFC Championship game. His hopes were dashed by the league and others he accuses of engaging in, quote, economic discrimination, with an illegal ticket policy limiting credit card sales to selected pro-Seattle markets. His lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court of Law in Las Vegas says it was part of an effort to keep 49ers fans away and further promote the Seattle Seahawks home field advantage at CenturyLink Field. Williams said, quote, they're always boasting up there about their 12th player and everything else. But by allowing the NFL to decide who can and cannot attend the games, you can make an unfair game. Seattle fixed it, end quote. That's pretty crazy. That is crazy. I don't know why $50 million. I don't where that came off the top of his head and how, why. No idea. But I can understand why he's upset. And maybe he does have a little bit of a case that, I think this is more going to turn out to he's not going to get anything out of it. Maybe, some tickets for 49ers games against the Seahawks or season tickets or something. Just time, just little things. But this is going to be a story that's going to get out. And I mean, it is out, but it's going to be talked about saying, maybe he does have, a legitimate problem here with the NFL. Should pro teams limit ticket sales to opposing fans only, or to limit them and just say home field advantage to us? He later says, I live in Las Vegas, but I'm originally from San Francisco. I've seen John Brody back in the day and Joe Montana. I really wanted to go up there to see my Niners. And then saying, I think the tickets should be sold on first come and first served basis, not based on who they want in the crowd, end quote. And that is true. Every ticket for every sporting event, for every concert, any event, should be first come, first served. You're there. You bought it first. You got the ticket, no matter what fan you are. I don't really think, a lot of teams do this, especially in playoffs, because they want that home field advantage. But they shouldn't limit. I don't think they should limit ticket sales to opposing fans. You got to rely on your fans, your true fans, to go out and support your team, and not have it where, all right, well, if we don't sell majority of the stadium, that's okay because we only want our home fans there. Or for the state of Washington, only have fans from Oregon, Montana, Colorado or something. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't think it should be limited. But I don't think he's not going to get $50 million. He's not even going to get $1 million out of this. Not even a few $100,000. But he does have a case for not a U.S. District Court case, but he's got a case for the NFL saying we shouldn't be doing this. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Should pro teams limit ticket sales to opposing fans? Would you like that if your team was on the road and they're in your city, but you can't go, for certain reasons? Or no, because it wouldn't be like that. If you're far away but you want to go out there, I don't know. I don't like it. I think it's dumb. But anyways, that's it for the NFL news, and we will have a show next week. One thing I want to point out is we will have a show on NFL Draft Day. Yes, we will. May 8th, we will have a draft only special that we will talk about day 1, and possibly the next day for day 2, we will also have a draft discussing what happened round 1, so on and so forth. I'll talk more about it next week, so we might have 3 shows next week, so just be prepared for that. We will talk a lot about the NFL draft. So excited. Anyways, NBA playoffs. Washington Wizards took a 3-1 series lead over the Chicago Bulls with the win 98-89. I'm going for the Wizards. I'm so happy they got it. Golden State tied the series with the LA Clippers 118-97. Toronto Raptors tie the series. I really wish Toronto had a bigger lead right now because Brooklyn, they're playing hot right now as well. But anyways, Raptors get the win 87-79. And the Portland Trailblazers, again in overtime, LaMarcus Aldridge and Points City. It's not Rip City, it's Point City because Portland wins 123-120. Trailblazers lead the series 3-1. And it's crazy. The points that are being scored, these two teams, it's awesome to watch them go at it because they're going to score 100-plus points in every game. But the sad part is, once the series is over, one team that can score a lot of points is now out of the playoffs. Because you look at, I know this is a different conference, but you look at Toronto and Brooklyn, 87-79, really low scoring. For me, I like to see high scoring games, especially against, especially like the Portland and Houston games. And it sucks that they're matched up together, but it's also really cool because they're going at it, high points. But Trailblazers do take the series lead 3-1. And tonight's set of games are Miami and Charlotte. The Heat against the Bobcats, and poor Bobcats down 3-0 against the Heat, and most likely the Heat are about to clinch it tonight. But I do want to say this, just in case I'm getting a little hype right now, even though this will most likely not happen. What if the Charlotte Bobcats, make sure you're listening here real good, what if the Charlotte Bobcats pull a Boston Red Sox, come down from 0-3 to win the series 4-3 over the Miami Heat? What would you say if that happened? I mean, I know it's not going to happen. It sucks. It's not going to happen. But that would be crazy if the Bobcats can do it. I'm not a Bobcats fan. I love LeBron James. He's greatness, King James. Awesome. I just hate the bandwagoners on the Heat. You know who you are. I don't like them, so I automatically just don't like the Heat. If you're a true fan of the Heat, then awesome. I support you. You're awesome. You're cool. But if you're one of those like, oh, well, I'm a LeBron James fan, so I'm just going to follow him over there. No. You know who you are, too. Anyways, that's a different discussion. But I would like to see the Bobcats do it. I mean, Bobcats have never been good at anything, really, so why not help them out? Come on, Charlotte. You can do it. I believe in you. Game 4 is at home. Game 4 is at home. You show you can have a lead over the Heat, even though in the fourth quarter you kind of lose it. But there's a chance. There's a chance. Not a strong one, but there is a chance. Anyways, next game is the Atlanta Hawks taking on the Indiana Pacers. And, man, the Hawks are on fire. I was really going towards the end of the season. I was hoping the Knicks would take that 8th spot. But because, Carmelo, I was thinking maybe playoffs would rejuvenate him, get him back to his, top star playing potential. But anyways, the Hawks doing a good job, and Indiana is doing a terrible job. The series is tied 2-2, and Atlanta takes on the Indiana Pacers on the road. And the last game tonight is the San Antonio Spurs against the Dallas Mavericks. It was a crazy Game 3. That Game 3 goes down in history as one of the best so far. Vince Carter, at a 37 years old, hits a clutch 3 just like we knew he could. And Mavs took the lead 2-1, and it was crazy. I was at my girl's place. She was watching it. We had the game cast on my phone, but it was taking forever to load. She goes inside, and she watches the game, and bam, she's like, "Oh no!" And she's like freaking out. And I thought she was just joking because I'm just messing with her. I'm a Lakers fan, but she's a Spurs fan, and I'm going for the Mavericks, all this other good stuff. I thought she was just saying, Spurs really won, and because my thing still wasn't loading and I didn't go inside. Anyways, I thought she was joking around, and I just talked about it right before she went inside. I was like, man, what if they hit a 3 and won the game? She goes in, she comes back outside, and then finally my phone refreshes, and bam, Mavericks take the lead. I don't know, it's a crazy story, but anyways, Dallas Mavericks 2-1. Ooh, what if we see the Mavericks take Game 4 right here? Take a 3-1 series lead. San Antonio's in trouble. San Antonio is in trouble, but we know what the Spurs can do, and I do see the Spurs winning the series ultimately. But Mavericks, they're not going down without a fight. The 8 seeds are not going down without a fight. Atlanta being 8 seed, Dallas being 8 seed, not happening. But anyways, guys, that's it for today's show. I will be back next Monday morning. We will talk about a whole lot of news that's probably going to happen right after this show. It usually does. Also, follow me on Twitter at @short_sports 24/7. Become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. Links are in the description. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, YouTube, Spreaker.com, make sure you give it a like while you are there. Comment what you love about the show, your thoughts on the topics we discussed, and share it out to your friends and family and get the word out. I see my channel growing, which is awesome. It's great to see. But spread the word, spread the love. And I'll see you guys in the next show, next Monday morning. See you guys then. Leave a like and share, all that good stuff. God first, God bless. I am out. Peace.